Hello everyone. Nice to see you again. It's the Therapist on Wheels. So what I want to talk about today is for people who are starting out, and maybe people who have even been driving for a while, discussing the art of the ping. And what I mean by that is, you know, when you're out driving, somebody's like staring at my vehicle from the street. What that was all about. If you're not getting pings, how to know where to go get, you know, drivers and find out, you know, who's needing rides and who's requesting rides. Because each day is different with Uber, Lyft, and probably any ride share that you're taking, but those are the most popular right now. When I say that, that means you have to, number one, know your city. You have to know your city, because if you don't know your city at least a little bit, it's going to be hard to pinpoint the busy times in which you should be driving. You want to know when there's like concerts coming into town, festivals coming into town, any type of big event that's going on in your city, because even if you have your own schedule from day to day that you normally drive, you also want to drive on those days and times too, okay? So make sure you know all the events that are going on in your city, and a lot of times Lyft and Uber will send you notification if there's a big event coming to your city. Now this is for, number two is for smaller cities versus larger cities. If you are in a smaller city, you might find it harder to find rides for people in your city. And this is one big difference that they don't tell you about with Uber and Lyft when it comes to finding rides and driving. When you are in a smaller city versus a bigger city, in a bigger city, you pretty much will get consistent rides all the time. Especially if you live in the city limits. There won't be times where you will be idle for very long. Now in smaller cities, you'll find there's idle times. I've been idle for, you know, almost 1 to 2 hours one time, not being able to find rides. What you want to do is you want to be in a constant state of movement if you're in a small city on the throughways or the expressways. Now you're probably saying, oh, what about mileage and gas? Now it's not going to really make a difference mileage and gas wise if you're not getting any pings or rides to make money. So you have to factor in, you know, at the same time you are going to be putting miles and using gas, but you want to be in a constant state of movement on the throughways and expressways, because those are the passages that go through the city. And a lot of times when you are in movement through the city, you can catch pings from people in residential areas, because a lot of times expressways go over and under and around residential areas, which will help you catch pings if you're in a small city. So if you find yourself that you're sitting or you're not getting pings back to back when you drop someone off, you know, leading into the next ride, hit the expressways, hit the throughways. That will help you get more rides, and you'll be able to catch more pings as you drive through the expressways in the city, because it'll help you cover more ground as opposed to driving, braking, and putting more wear and tear on your car, just you know, driving through the streets of your city trying to find, you know, and catch rides. And then the other thing is, if you are really struggling and finding rides, just hang out at bus stations, airports, or train stations. A lot of times, if you hang out at those areas, even if you take like 15 to 20 minutes, a ride to and from the train station, bus stations, usually people tip better when they're, you know, you provide them transportation to a place where they need to catch a train, bus, or airplane. So you might just want to hang out for 15 minutes. You think, oh, if I'm not really out searching for rides, I'm losing money. Not really, because a lot of times one ride can be $25, $30, $40, depending on who's tipping and how you engage with them during the ride. So don't always think of it as I'm wasting time. Think about putting yourself in the best places to get the best fares and the best tips too. So that's the third thing, is to hang out at those places if you also finding difficulty finding rides. And then also, if you can't find a ping, talk to, and this is if they're willing, other Uber and Lyft riders, and discuss with them, you know, what they've experienced, because then you might get ideas on how to catch more business and where they found more business. So if you see someone driving along, you see someone stopped at a gas station or a parking lot, and you see that they have the Uber Lyft sign, you could just, you know, walk up to them and ask, you know, hey, I'm also an Uber Lyft driver. What have you experienced in this city, and where have you found the most success? Sometimes they'll be willing to tell you. Sometimes they might be like, your competition, I'm not gonna tell you. So that's the fourth thing. You know, talk to other Uber and Lyft drivers. That's another thing. And then check, whenever you go into your apps, Uber or the Lyft app, make sure you check the trends in your city for the day. They'll tell you right in the app. They'll tell you when it gets busy. So you might just want to shift your time also to the time when the trends are at the highest, if you really want those back-to-back. You know, for me, I try to just keep a steady schedule every day. You know, so I just take, you know, a certain amount of hours in that day, and I just drive that every day, even if I'm not busy on some days or other days, because I just like to keep a consistent schedule, almost like I'm going to work. It helps me function better, and plus me and what my responsibilities, I can't really shift my schedule around right now like that. So I stay on that regular schedule. So those are things that help with, I call it the art of the ping, because it is an art trying to find, you know, it's not a taxi service, so you have to find the rides, you know, but it's not difficult if you just follow those 4 or 5, you know, tips. It makes it a lot easier to find those rides. Okay, so thank you for watching. Again, this is the Therapist on Wheels, and make sure you keep tuning in. I will be updating again. Sorry about that. Okay, so all right, have a good day.